Yes, this is kind of a different setting outside. There are dogs barking here. This is Bali where I'm actually filming this. But this is very important what we're talking about. And that is fear. Like fear. It's like the silent killer that's really loud and everywhere. So fear, ultimately it's an illusion, the illusion of fear. But fear is like sometimes much more than illusion. Fear holds us back. Fear creates this illusion that we have that we can't do something and we shouldn't do something. And it's like this veil. That's what fear kind of is. It's a veil that you realize is not true, that it's not there. So it comes in many ways. There's an illusion we all are painting around what we're trying to do. There's some kind of fear illusion there. So I want to think about content, because we've been talking about content. Last month was on content. Fear. Think about the fear that surrounds content creation. Fear is what's stopping you from most of the time. Fear is what stops you most of the time from creating what it is that you want to create, because fear is there. And fear, it's like, well, fear, will this be good enough? Fear, will people watch this? Fear, will I disappoint myself if people don't like it? We hold ourselves to all these different things of fear. And one thing that I have been learning a lot lately in some of the classes and courses that I've been taking is fear exists when something goes out of our control. So I want you to think about that for a second. The moment things step out of our control and we don't have control of it is the moment that's when fear makes it stand. That's when fear makes it place. Something that someone actually told me the other day it was a great quote. And it was that fear, you can tell how scared someone is by how much control they try to assert. That shows how much fear someone has. So you can think about it from a relationship standpoint. You can think about it from so many different ways. You can tell how much fear someone has by how much they try to control the situation, how much they try to control things. So when you look at, when it comes to creating content, when it comes to making big decisions in our life, we realize that when we cross that threshold of not having any control anymore, saying, yes, I care about someone, yes, I really want to commit to doing this for a long time, we have this fear that comes along with it. Think about it in sports, like, am I going to play well? Am I going to succeed? We have all these different things that come up, and all these are fear because it's out of our control. So when it really comes down to fear, it sometimes comes down to a surrendering of control. You create content, you put your voice out there, you voice your opinion, you say yes to opportunities, knowing that it's going to be out of your control, and accepting that it's out of your control, and understanding once you accept that, I don't have control, it's fine, I don't want the control anymore. That it's at that point that you realize that, wait a minute, that fear was just an illusion. It was scared because it didn't have control anymore. And not having control, we need to have control over everything. It's how we feel. And when you actually really think about it, and you really dive deep down into what it is that you actually can control in your life, what can you actually control? What can you control? You can't give a guarantee that you'll take your next breath. You can't give a guarantee that, if there's one thing that's happening in this world right now, and this is in May of 2020, is that the things we thought we could control, we actually don't have any control over it at all. And the people who are holding these structures and things in place who we think have control over it, they're scared as well. And you can tell that people are scared by the more rules, the more things they put on. They're scared that things will get out of their control. That's when things start to go crazy. So when it comes to fear, it becomes to be like it really is an illusion. And I think when you learn to be vulnerable, to put yourself out there, understanding you have no control over what's going to happen, you have no control over the situation, but you still continue on to go, that's when you have power. That's when you have power. Like, I really believe the opposite of fear is power. Because it's a power to be able to give up that control. It is like a superpower. Because you realize that most people will never do that. Most people will never make themselves vulnerable. They won't put themselves in a position that they can't control. They won't put themselves in an environment they can't control. Why are people so scared of traveling to other places? Going to visit, going to go backpacking with just the little minimalist stuff that they have. Going to a country where they don't speak the language. There's a fear there because things are out of your control. You don't speak the language. You don't know the culture, the customs, the food, all these things you don't know, which you can control in your own environment, in your own country, you know all this stuff. But for some reason, when you go to another place, you don't know it. So fear is that's it. But once you make that step, you buy that ticket, you take that flight, you take that train, you arrive in that country, and you do it, you're just like, is this what I was scared of the whole time? Like, I can't even tell you how many times I thought that. And the thing, even on top of that, is people put their fears on us. The things that they know they can't control. That's why so many people push you to do so many different things, because this is the safe way. And if it's safe, that means you can control it. There's a level of control there. But even now we're realizing, as systems are crashing and everything, that actually those systems, when they lose control, who actually has control? Why was I scared to take that flight? Why was I scared to live up to the dreams that I wanted to do? So anytime you start to tell people, and you'll notice when you tell people about your dreams and things that you really want to accomplish, and you tell them and you explain to them, they usually stick with you just up until the point where their fears kick in, or they feel like you can't control that from there. So if you understand this concept, you become more confident, because you understand that when you can't control the situation, that fear is going to be there. But at the same time, it's an illusion. It's just like the Wizard of Oz. You're scared of all this stuff, and you just pull back the curtain and you're like, oh, this is what I was scared of. Just like we've done something, we did something we didn't think we could. Lost some weight, we met people, we got in committed relationships, we finally took that risk and brought that house, brought that car, brought that one thing we really wanted to. We saved up and did this. All these, we just bypassed an illusion. We gave up our control. So when it comes to how do you conquer fear, it's almost like you have to look at it as a standpoint of, I'm willing to give up my control. I'm willing to give up my control in this situation that I'm in. You're willing to say that I have control right now. I think I have control right now, even though you can't guarantee your next breath. And I'm willing to let go of my control of it to accomplish the next thing. Oh, hi. The easy way to say this, and I like I say, I could go on for probably an hour talking about fear. So long story short, not that there is a proven way to conquer fear, but there is a way to counter the fear. The moment you surrender to letting go of your control of the outcome, control of what people will say, control of what people will do, control of how you will react to the situation, the sooner you're able to relinquish that control and let that control go, you'll realize that oftentimes the fear goes as well. Because when you stop focusing on the control, then the fear part just somehow where'd it go? Because it's only there. It's only there. Fear came around because it keeps you safe. Like if you go to the same restaurant, see the same people all the time, then you know what's going to happen. You know? So when it comes to fear, when it comes to all this stuff, understand that your willingness to surrender your control of the situation, to not be attached to the outcome, to just go about doing it because you want to do it, that's what you feel like you should do, regardless of who watches it, regardless of how your situation turns out, regardless of if this person breaks your heart, regardless of whether you get that job or not. The ability that you have to let go of your control, that literally lowers the fear, this thing is blocking the way. It literally lowers the fear that you would have by saying, I'm willing to give up all my control and to do this. So I think that was one thing, if there's one thing you can take away from this episode here, this video, is that letting go of your control, surrendering to not having any attachment to the outcome, whether it works, whether it doesn't work, but you're just going to do it. Taking those risks, that is exactly the amount of success that you're going to have with what you're trying to do. Because if you never put yourself out there, you never know. And at the end, when you're at the end of the days, end of your years, when you look back on it, you're going to be like, wow, I really didn't take that risk. I really didn't do it. I can't believe it. And that's the one thing I hope to get to you guys today, that fear is an illusion. So the question I ask you in this video is, what illusion are you painting? What's your illusion? Find out what it is, deal with it, accept that it's there, and then relinquish the control. Surrender the control of it, and you'll see results happen. Oh, and by the way, I filmed this all the way outside, and I've been getting eaten by mosquitoes from this. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much. Don't fear. There's nothing to fear. It's all about the control. Surrender your control, and the fear will disappear. That rhymes.